Hello, everyone who is with me early on the webinar tonight at 7 o'clock. If you're with me, please put something in the chat box just to say hello, to make me feel like I'm not talking to myself. So I'm going to say hello into the chat box, and I want to know if you can hear me and whether you can see my slides. So if anyone is on the call, then hello, Jill. Hello, Andy. Thank you very much for coming early. I really appreciate it. It's a really weird thing to feel like you're talking to yourself. Sarah, hello, Sarah. How are you? Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for being on time. What a lovely evening as well. So thank you for giving up your evening and spending it with me. I hope that, well, I already know that Jill and Andy will have big glasses of Sauvignon Blanc or something equally as fabulous there, sipping away while I'm slaving over a webinar. Isn't that right, Andy and Jill? And maybe Sarah too. Is that right, Sarah? Okay, well, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. And of course, the webinar is going to be recorded, but it's so much Rioja tonight, Andy. Fantastic. Oh, enjoy. Cheers. Cheers, Jules. Cheers, Andy. And Jill's not on the wine, I see. That's not like you, Jill. No, the benefit, you're still in the office, Sarah. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I hope that by the end of this webinar, you're going to feel like you've got some value, and it was worth being here tonight. So thank you again. I really appreciate it. And whilst this is really an opportunity for me to talk to you about my program and what I've been doing with the Pharmaceutical Marketing Society, it's really an opportunity to record the webinar as well, because for those of people who can't join live, then it's nice to be able to share the replay of them. So we're coming to 7 o'clock, and I don't. Hello, Paul. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Lovely to see you tonight. And yeah, well, hopefully you're going to get some value out of this as well. So thanks to everyone for coming. Really appreciate it. Let's dive in. So what this is about how to get more business without getting more clients. And it's a new 5-step client growth model. So my promise to you this evening is I'm going to show you a systematic way you and your account team can grow existing business, so you don't have to constantly chase new business. And this is the same process that we've been teaching live in workshops for the last 8 months with the Pharmaceutical Marketing Society, and we've been having some fantastic feedback. And Jill Laura, my business partner, ran the program for the IPM last week, and it was really, really well received. Now, if you stay to the end of the webinar, because I really would love you to stay, my thank you gift to you is a list of questions that you can ask before you decide to go for a pitch. So this is all about trying to save you money ultimately. So if you stay to the end, I'm going to give you a link and you can download it. So why should you listen to me? Well, this is what I looked like back in the day, because when I started out in advertising, it was the heady 90s in Hatton Garden, my first ad agency. I was 22 years old, and at that time, everyone looked like this. Give me a yes, I remember in the chat box if you are of that era and you can remember what I mean. So this really was the first foray in advertising, and for 25 years I worked in different agencies in my career, and it was almost like a zero training zone, because even though I was getting promoted and doing what I thought was a good job, I never really had any formal training. No formal training in how to manage the client relationship, what really my role was as an account manager, how, what was expected of me. But I was just kind of sort of promoted throughout my career. So you remember as well, so that's great, Paul. Yeah, you remember phone cards, 10p's at the ready. Absolutely. I know Jill does remember. Sarah, you're just out remembering this. And Andy, yes, for sure. So all throughout my career, no training. And all I had to do was sort of keep calm and just carry on winging it. That's how it felt. Now, fast forward to 2010, and 2010 was probably my best year and my worst year all at the same time. From a career perspective, I was promoted to General Manager of Publicis Healthcare in Kensington in London, international role in charge of a team of 50 people. And that was fantastic from a career perspective. But it was a really bad year because it was the same year my dad was diagnosed with cancer. And that really, for me, in my whole life was a wake-up call, because up until that point, I've been really career-driven, climbing up that career ladder, and it made me evaluate everything, basically. Now, one guy stepped into my life around this time, and his name's Marcus Kalki. And he's a sales trainer for Sodor Training. And I was fortunate enough to have 2 years intensive one-on-one sales training. And for me, it changed the way I worked. And it was a huge epiphany moment, because through his coaching, I was having conversations with my clients that were leading to new pieces of business, new projects, new proposals, and client growth. And I thought to myself, why the hell did no one give me this training when I first started out all those years ago in advertising? Because my career would have been so much more valuable, would have added value to the client business. I would have added so much more money to the bottom line of the agency. Now, at that time, I decided to really delve into this and thought, God, what have I been missing? And I started to read things like, I follow Tim Williams, I still do. And if you don't, I would really suggest you do. Tim Williams is probably the biggest thought leader in the States when it comes to ad agencies and how they operate. I was reading books about referrals, how to get referrals from clients, how to influence clients, because I don't know how all of this stuff really had passed me by. So for me, it was like a huge head slap moment. My God, what have I been missing? So I trained my team. I said, right, if I'm going to get this training, so are you. And what surprised us all was that the account executives were really just soaking up this knowledge, applying it and getting results, coming back to the agency after meetings and bringing proposals with them, bringing new opportunities with them. So I just thought, there has to be a gap in the market for this kind of training. So that's why Account Management Skills was born, and it's dedicated to helping creative agency account handlers manage the client relationships. Because let's look at the facts. Here's a few job specs for account managers. Just zero in on what they're looking for now. A track record for developing accounts and spotting opportunities to increase revenue. This is something that they're asking for. Another one for the Reed employment website. Delivering ongoing strategies for clients and identifying opportunities for growth for both the client and the company. So this is a skill that's wanted. Similar one with New York, the ability to manage and grow a book of business. So who's giving anyone any guidance in how to do this? Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Sodor Report, but this is literally a state of the agency, client-agency relationship report that's done every year, mostly with digital agencies and their clients. Now, one of the insights that blew me away was 22% of clients fire their agency because they're unhappy with account management. Now, I don't know about you, but I found that quite shocking, because the account managers, we're there on the front line, we're not really prepared, and yet that's one of the reasons that, we're getting fired. Now, nowadays, it seems things haven't really got much better. I wrote an article, it's my first article on LinkedIn in February. I had 917 likes, 128 comments and 83 shares. I had people writing to me just saying, thank you so much for making me feel like I wasn't alone, because it was just basically an outpouring of how I felt about not having any training. So now my training courses are delivered for the Institute of Promotional Marketers and Prime, which is the Pharmaceutical Marketing Society. And this training now has been running for 6 months, as I said. And it's just helping account managers, which gives me a huge sense of satisfaction. So what is this 5-step client growth model? Well, let's start by saying what it's not. It's not about strategizing in a vacuum. This is not about you sitting on your own coming up with a strategy for growth. It's not about thinking you should already have all the answers either. It's about uncovering the client's real challenges and then looking for ways to adding value to their business by solving them, which also adds value and money to your bottom line. Now, who's this for? It's for people who are new to account management, haven't had any formal training, and want to progress their career or get a promotion maybe. It's also for you if you're improving your account management skills and you're just looking to get better. And it's also for those who are managing a team and looking for some kind of systematic process that they can follow to help their team grow accounts. So why client growth? Now, as we know, agency leaders and owners want three things to get, keep and grow clients. But let's look at the cost of getting clients. You've got pitching, cold calling, inbound marketing, networking. You could even have a business development director in-house. That's a huge cost to any agency. And why is keeping and growing the smart option? Well, as we've said, it costs more to get new clients. Long-term clients, obviously working with you for a longer period, buy more from you over time. So it's in your interest to keep those client relationships longer. Also, they usually let you know when they're unhappy, and that gives you the opportunity to put things right. Similarly, existing clients tend to recommend you more frequently, and that means giving you testimonials and also referrals. Now, Tim Williams, as I said, is one of the thought leaders in the space. Huge respect for Tim. He wrote a report called What Today's Clients Want Most from Their Agencies. Can you just write in the chat box if you are familiar with this report? Because I'd really like to know if anyone has read it or heard of it. Because I know all of you on tonight are in the agency business. So just give me a yes, I have, or no, I haven't in the chat box if you have heard of this report. You haven't, Sarah. Okay. It's interesting. Okay, Brill. Thanks, Sarah. Now, it is all about how clients define value in an agency-client relationship. And Paul, you have. That's great. It was done with hundreds of clients and agencies. Now, it was sponsored by the American Academy of Advertising, the Association of National Advertisers, and the World Federation of Advertisers. And what the point I want to make with this is it sums it up in one quote from a client. Now, the question was to the client, when you change agencies, what are some of the primary reasons why? And the answer was because the agency never gave us anything that we didn't ask for. So you need a more proactive approach to client management. Now, you can either put your head in the sand or think, well, yep, I actually need to do something about it. So how does the 5-step client growth model work? Let's see. This is traditionally how we work with clients, okay? We go from step 1 to step 5. The client briefs us, we develop a proposal, we present the proposal, request a PO, the client approves it, the project gets underway, and then the agency completes the project. That's more or less how most agencies work, you know, depending on what kind of service you're offering. Now, you don't ask for the money or don't request the money until step 3. The new 5-step proactive client growth model, and we've used the acronym APPLE because conveniently all the letters just spelt out Apple, works as follows. The first step is to ask questions, and we really dive in on the program into how to ask those questions in a systematic way that allow you to uncover the challenges, problems, issues that the clients are having, where you can spot opportunities to add value and solve them. P is for pre-selling a solution. So during the same conversation, you pre-sell them a solution and secure a purchase order. And in our program, we talk about how we use the let's pose model in order to have a conversation and use wording that allows us to pre-sell a solution and secure the funding. P is for present value add proposal, and that includes the value that you're going to bring to the client that you've uncovered is the problem that needs solving. The L is for leading the client and team, and during the training we talk about how we have a contact plan and a client mapping process to enable you to have key touch points and frequent touch points during the project, also during the life of the relationship. And then E is for evaluating the project, looking at what went well, what didn't go well, and looking how you can improve, and then asking for a testimonial and referral. Again, there's a very specific process that we follow to ask for testimonial, whether it's right or not to ask for it, and also what you need to have in place before you do so. So what I'm going to do is just dive in to a couple of these steps in a little bit more detail. So when we say ask questions, what we're talking about here is analysing the client. Analysing the client in terms of what communication style do they have, how do they best communicate, and how can you adapt your style to match theirs in order to maximise that interaction. Then we talk about asking the right questions to uncover their business issues and also personal challenges, because let's not forget that the client is handling the business, but they're probably also working for a company as well and have their own personal challenges inside that organization. The closer you can understand where the client's coming from, the better it is. And what I've seen is people asking questions to clients that they wouldn't normally have the confidence to ask, and the client all of a sudden blossoms and starts revealing lots more information than perhaps you would have done normally. And by very nature of the fact that you're uncovering those issues, the client sees you in completely different eyes, and you become more connected to your client. And listening is probably one of the biggest skills that you have to have as an account manager. In fact, you should be talking only 30% of the time when you're interacting with your clients, and listening for 70% of the time. I think too often I see account managers who just feel that they have to be on broadcast all the time without really understanding the client. Asking the right questions is in the right way also is fundamental, and that's why during the training we go through lots of exercises and role play in order to practice this 4-step questioning model. But as well as asking the right questions, so is understanding what client is really, really buying from you. So maybe you think the client is actually buying your fantastic creative, because a lot of agencies say, well, we're very, very creative, and that's why the client come to us. Maybe you think the client is buying your digital capabilities because you're really, really good at cutting edge digital strategies and solutions. Or maybe you think they're coming to you because you've won all those awards and that reflects well on them. It could be that you think that your agency has a fantastic strategic ability and that's why they come to you. Or even it could be for you. You think it's you. Your sparkling personality is attractive. Now, going back to Tim Williams' report for a moment, this was, again, a big revelation and very insightful, and something that was summed up in a quote from a client. So they were being interviewed, and they said, I recently spent the better part of a week with people for a TV shoot in California. The production went fine, but I'm really bothered by the fact that never once during the week did anyone in the agency ask about how our business is doing. Now, what are you really selling? If the agency was there and they didn't really ask about the business, what you're actually selling are business outcomes. So what we teach in the course is to ask questions about the results your client is looking for, and asking to see their financial objectives for the project, and also focusing all of your conversations with the client on the business outcomes they can expect working with you. Now, again, going back to when I've trained this live, all of the account managers in the room, we do a little exercise. I ask them the question, what are you selling? And all of them without fail talk about all of this periphery, non-differentiating stuff, when actually what the client is buying from you are business outcomes. So going back to the account manager success plan online training that we're doing now, asking questions, we provide a 4-step questioning model with scripts. We provide a client social style matrix, so the agency account manager can analyze the patterns of communication that the client uses and make sure they adapt their own style. We also look at how much time the account manager spends on the work they're doing for the client. So we give them a prioritization matrix for both the account and also the project. And we also give them a client development plan template. And that is a 30-page PowerPoint template. It's not all to be filled in, but it just is a place where the agency account manager can put all of the insights that they've gathered from the client conversation into, and it forms the client development strategy that we then use. So you can buy that. The value is 129. Step 2 of the process is a pre-sale solution. Now, during this process in the account management success plan training, we walk through a 4-step pre-sale process, and we provide scripts so that the account manager can use those scripts with their client. And again, we have exercises in our workshop to run through how that happens. We also let them see how they can identify the business outcomes of the projects they're working on so that they can have business outcome conversations with clients. We also talk about how to identify value-add solutions. So these are solutions that be low cost, i.e. it doesn't cost the agency anything other than their time, or it could be high cost solutions, but these solutions are actually what add value to the agency, to the client business. So how do you identify potential business outcomes? Well, we do a very, very, very simple exercise. And what we do is, let's take, for example, a website, and we make 3 columns. And this is an exercise we do with all the account managers. And we say, right, talk about what product that you offer as an agency, let's say a website. Let's think about the benefits of the website. These are typical things that you would talk to when you present a proposal as an account manager with a client. You know, our website provides real-time feedback, intuitive design, capture leads, etc. But are these really business outcomes? No. So let's think about what are those business outcomes that could become from the benefits. And really, the business outcomes are all about quantitative measures rather than qualitative measures. So decreasing the length of the sales cycle, increasing conversion rates, increasing market penetration. And the more that you can have conversations with clients in this box, the more you are perceived by the client as more valuable, because all of a sudden you're talking the client language. Because you know that the reason they're coming to you is for the business outcomes you are going to help them achieve for their business. Step 4 is leading the client and the team. And on the online training, we have a client mapping process. The client mapping process is where it's a risk management model, really, where you have a contact at the client side matched with a contact at the agency side. Because the more contact points you can have between the client and the agency, the more secure that relationship is. And I mean, tell me in the chat box, how many times have you thought that perhaps the account is in danger because the relationship just sits with one person in the agency? I.e., if someone walks out that door, they take that relationship with them, and it leaves the agency quite vulnerable. So if you're in charge of an agency, this is something, and Sarah's saying yes, absolutely. This is something that happens all of the time. Why leave your agency open to vulnerability? It's staggering. We also talk about contact plan, and the contact plan is where you have these regular touch points throughout the project and throughout the relationship, enable you to stay in front of your client. Because I think I've seen a lot of agency account managers, particularly young ones, hiding behind email, and hiding behind email doesn't build relationships. So the more that you have the confidence, and fundamentally what this program does is give the account manager the confidence to have those conversations with clients, to know exactly what to say to clients when they're with clients, and to add value. Step 5 is all about evaluating what went well and what didn't go well in a project, and that can be done both with the client and also internally, and asking for testimonials and referrals, because the quickest and easiest way that you can grow agency business is by adopting a referral habit within the agency. So this is where your client introduces you to someone else who they think that you can add value to. Now, again, in order to do that, you should have certain things in place before you ask for that referral. And in the training, we go through a 5-step referral process. We break the referral process down and we analyze all of what you need to say, how you need to say it, and when you need to say it. So we also talk through strategic review, which is the 30-page PowerPoint template where you capture all of the feedback from the project, what went well, what didn't, so that you're constantly evaluating the situation but making your service and products better. The strategic review template is also available for £79 on my website. But this is the process in a nutshell. This is something that all of the account managers that I've shown to said, finally, I've got something to follow. Because in agencies, as we know, we've all got a process to follow for developing the actual end product, i.e. how to run a project through a studio, the process of the job from artwork to final production, but we don't have a process for managing and growing the client relationship. So this is the process. Some of my students have said some amazing things, which has really been really lovely for me to hear, like Cecile, this is an amazing course which has given me the structure and tools to grow existing business. Most of all, it's given me valuable confidence. Cecile was fantastic. She was like a little flower that was blossoming during the workshop. And this is ultimately what it gives you. It gives you the confidence of knowing what to say, how to say it, and where you're going. Sarah, the course was really informative, engaging, and relevant. I've learned many tips, tricks, and strategies that are going to help me build the relationships and also help my career progression. Because as we've seen with these job specs, this is what employees are after. And how fantastic if you can say, I've actually got a process that I can follow and I can share with you my tools, tricks, and templates. John was fantastic. He took like a duck to water. He was an account director who had never received any sales training. And he says, if you're a client services or account manager and wonder what you're meant to be doing, then this course will help you understand how to get the best out of your client relationship and agency career. Because this is the thing, like, what should you be doing in an agency? The fact that you're saying yes to your client is not necessarily a good thing. So how are you going to really uncover the client's issues so you can add value? Now, I want to reach more people with this program. The success of this on this live workshop has been fantastic, and it's really taken on a bit of a life of its own. So hence the reason I've been alluding to the online version of this course. And the reason I'm doing this is because I've been contacted by an ex-client in Singapore who's now in charge of Asia Pacific region, who wants to do some training. I've also been contacted by an ex-contact in Italy, and I thought she was going to be on the call. I think maybe she'd be listening to the replay on this. Hello, Stefania. And I just want people to know that this is available. So this is I hope you don't mind, I'm going to spend a couple of minutes talking about this online program. Please type yes in the box if that's okay with you, if I could just spend a couple of minutes telling you about it. Thank you. The Account Manager Success Plan online training is something that I've been working on for 6 months now, and it's really a labor of love. It's a 12 step-by-step video training module, and you can watch it at your leisure. You can pause it, rewind it, go back to it, and just dip in and out to the modules that are relevant to you at whatever time you want. You've got 12 downloadable workbooks that come with it, and these are the key points from each module and some actions that you need to take just to embed the learnings. I've also provided 12 additional download templates, models, scripts, frameworks, step-by-steps. Really, I'm giving you the whole farm, really. It's everything you need to know about developing that client relationship. The total investment is $997 for all of this training. And this is what I'm rolling out to everybody that has asked me, has contacted me. And already I'm getting some fantastic feedback. But I'm also throwing in a bonus to those that I'm talking to live on webinar. Now, I'm also including the client development plan template. I'm also throwing in the strategic review template and also 3 monthly Q&A calls with me, all recorded. And this is where anyone can ask me any question specific to their particular issue or problem they're having with their client, and I can help solve it. So there's all of this is included. This is only going to be available today and on the webinars that I'm doing live as a bonus for people that are joining me and taking the time out of their day to join me on a webinar. So I'm including all of these bonuses in the price. And I'm also, because I'm launching this for the first time, I'm offering a special webinar only offer of $497. So that's my launch price. And hopefully I've got something extra for you, because once you've been through the program, what I'm inviting people to do is take part in as being an ambassador for the program. So fundamentally, if you're happy with what you think this program gives you, and you're impressed with the value and you think it would be worth sharing, then I'm going to give you 50% commission. So if you sign up to the program, you go through it and you're happy with it, there's already a couple of people going through it now, and they're going to be the first ambassadors. So if I'm going to give you a unique link that you can then share with anyone you work in an agency with, and for every sale you make, then I'm going to give you 50% of that cost. So hopefully that's an incentive to sign up to the program, to see what it's all about, with a view to sharing it with others and earning some commission. So hopefully you only have to share it a couple of times before you see your money come back to you. And I hope it's going to be valuable for you anyway in your agency or your career. So what you get is the video training modules, the downloadable workbooks, the downloadable templates, the client development plan template, strategic review plan template, the 3 monthly Q&A calls with me, and also access to the ambassador program, where you get 50% commission. So if you have a large following, or you're in a community of other agency account managers who you think they'd benefit from this, and client services directors have been contacting me wanting training in their agencies. So this is also something useful for them. So this the total investment is $497. And here's what you can expect to come away with: to be fundamentally more strategic in how you grow your business, and you'd be able to add value to the client's business, add money to the bottom line of your company, and ultimately put yourself in a better position to get promoted, or help your team increase the agency revenue, or even get a better job. Because this is all about your personal growth and the agency's growth. By changing the way you have those conversations with clients and following this system, ultimately you're going to add a lot more money on the bottom line for your agency. So that's what I'm really, really keen to do. A couple of people have already been through the course. Emma Walker, Cecile Sherry has given me permission to give you their testimonials. And Emma says, I'd recommend this course to anyone with a solid couple of years experience in account management, looking to develop their skills and begin to grow their client accounts in a structured, well-managed way. Excellent practical tips provided in an incredible, informative day. So Emma loved the training. Cecile even said she was a really lovely girl, amazing course, without being overly positive, which I think was really funny. I think it has completely changed my role. It's given me structure and tools on how to do something quite scary, and ultimately give me more confidence. So you get all of this today for $497. Sign up. It's hopefully I'm making it a no-brainer for you. Here's the link. It's bit.ly/account manager sign up. And my personal guarantee for anyone who is buying the program, if you don't feel after 30 days the program's added any value to you, I'll refund your money. No questions asked. I really am not in the business of sharing stuff that isn't going to be adding value. So absolutely guaranteed. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the webinar. If you've stuck around, then here's my free gift to you. You can download it here, the link. There's no sign up required. And hopefully this will really be valuable to you, and it would help you with asking and evaluating whether you should take a pitch opportunity or not. So if anyone has got any questions at all, please pop them in the chat box. I'm just going to give you a little link to the offer and in the call box. But if you've got any questions whatsoever, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm really appreciative of everyone that's turned up here live. Thank you, Andy, Sarah, Paul, Jill, Michelle. Really appreciate you joining me, and I hope you found some value in the presentation. And you can always reach out to me at my email address, which is jenny@redgluecommunications.com. If you've got any questions whatsoever about the content of the webinar, the content of the course I'm offering, or you want to do any kind of joint venture with me and become an ambassador for the program. So thank you again. I'm going to bid farewell. It's been quicker than I thought it would, probably because I've rushed through it. And but I hope, thank you, Andy. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. And Chinche, enjoy your Rioja and enjoy your evening, everyone. And please reach out if you have any questions. Thank you so much. Good night.